Well, now, behind me on this board, I'm going to share with you 5 businesses that you can start with as low as 20,000 Kenyan shillings. And for those who are watching me outside Kenya, this is equivalent to like 200 US dollars. Yeah, you can be able to start something with that amount of money. And maybe why am I even talking about business? Because maybe let's say you don't want to talk about MMF, you don't want to talk about bills, bonds, and what have you. Or maybe you don't even have amount of money that's enough to start you that investment. You just want to get into a thing. By the way, have you understand that one thing? There is a difference between business and investment. Businesses, like, they earn you like almost immediately, but when you invest in money market fund, you have to wait a bit longer. Okay, so that is exactly what I'm going to talk with you in this particular video. All what I need you to do is to go ahead and like the video, make sure that you subscribe, go ahead and comment on the comment section. Let's get into the business now. Okay, the business number 1. First of all, I have to lay this foundation before I start throwing you the ideas. All the conditions to do as far as the business is concerned must be catered for. You have to identify the target customers, the pricing, your competitors, where you come from. By the way, if I share these 5 businesses, it does not mean that it will apply anywhere you come from. Maybe you're in remote places, or it does not apply. You must be able to identify who are your target customers, what do they need, and you give them that, not that what you want. Any business can actually be successful out there. The first business, remember, this is amount of money. I would recommend you to go ahead and rent for a house, because honestly speaking, I mean, if you go ahead, for example, in Kenya, you get yourself an average of, say, a house that you're paying for 6,000, then they tell you have to pay for, like, I don't know, for 2 months up front. That's like 18,000 gone. So you have nothing to start a business. So for these businesses, I don't recommend you starting a business where you rent a place. Don't rent a place. Like, don't rent a house or a room or something of sort. Okay, you can do like an open air. All right, I know you're like, "Hey, just tell us the 5 businesses." Okay, fine. Business number 1 is none other than getting yourself into eggs business. Eggs business in Kenya is actually doing an amazing thing. Check out on your country whether it's doing good, because eggs business, you don't need like a huge chunk of cash to get started. Egg business is whereby you can get yourself a place where, maybe a residential place. Let's take this case scenario, a residential place where a lot of people tend to live in that particular place. Probably eggs is that thing that you usually grab early in the morning, probably when you go to job or whatever, maybe at the evening or what have you, or bachelors, you understand what I mean by that. See, eggs, it's that business that you really don't need like a huge chunk of cash to start with. All what you need to do, identify a spot where you know it's like a sort of a cross section or whatever. A lot of people do what we call the footwalk around the place. It has quite a good high traffic, and then get yourself like you can get yourself like a table, a simple thing. Sometimes you take what is available, just a table, and maybe if you be operating throughout the day, you can get yourself an umbrella, like a big umbrella. That umbrella will cost you like 2,000 or 2,300 or something of sort, and then you can get yourself a stock worth like 10,000 or thereabout. And then obviously you have to pay the permit. In Kenya, you have to pay the county council. That's what they are called. Probably, I don't know, 300 per month or something. Then you pay them. Then you there, and then of course be presentable. Get yourself like a white coat or something. Whenever you're dealing with food, or no matter whether you're dealing it with the lowest point out there, be presentable, be eloquent, and be somebody who is outgoing and what have you. And there you are. You're selling yourself some eggs. People can buy in wholesale. People can buy in units or pieces, or whichever the thing it is. And of course, identify who are selling it from the shops and what have you, so that at least you can be able to offer that price that is a bit competitive. And if you know your customers are actually very early guys, then you have to wake up very early in the morning, show up to the place, so that you can be able to get a hold of those customers. And if you know you're gonna show up at the evening, and by the way, this is a side hustle that you can be able to start it. Maybe let's say you're employed somewhere and you want to supplement your income, you can go ahead and start this venture. Maybe say you get out of the job at the evening, say at 5 or 6. At 6:30 you're already at the spot. You get yourself like a rechargeable lamp, you put it there, then you got your eggs, and who knows, for God's sake, you can sell a couple of trays and you get yourself some couple of shillings. That's a side hustle that you're doing. And then another thing is that maybe you can employ somebody to operate the business during the day when you're actually employed somewhere. Or maybe if that's not the case, then you can actually be there by yourself. Or then if you identify that your clients or the customers that you target are early people, then you can show up very early in the morning, you do your thing, and maybe you can check it out. Maybe you can incorporate some other things like snack selling. You can incorporate some other things that complements the eggs and what have you, and you have a business. You can be able to start from there, then grow yourself to the next level. You can look at it from the point of growing that business to a bigger levels as far as the growth is concerned. All right, Did I say something on that? Let's go to the next one. Okay. Now, what's the next business that you can be able to start as far as this money is concerned? You can get into what we call the laundry business. The laundry business. Obviously, this amount of money is not enough to buy you a laundry machine. That's for sure. So forget about buying the laundry machine. Obviously, I said forget about renting a place. The laundry business is like in Kenya, we have these people, we call them the mamafua. Mamafua are simply these wonderful ladies who usually show up to a place. You pay them, they do you the washing. Some of them, they do the clothing, even the entire home, the cleaning of the couches, the floors, and what have you. And obviously, you pay them. You can actually up your game. You can print some brochures. You sell those brochures. I mean, send those brochures to those residential places, and then you can offer them the convenience washing, whereby you grab their clothing, take them back to your home, you wash them, you package them, you take back to that kind of a thing. Obviously, here there might be a challenge of the deliveries and what have you, but obviously pick a place whereby you can be able to, sort of deliver the thing, with convenience. And again, at the same time, obviously, when you're pricing your products, of course, you have to incorporate the delivery fee. If then you realize that your client is complaining about the fee due to the delivery that you're actually adding, then you can decide to do the clothing or the washing from that particular place. Or you can employ some guys to do exactly that job. What do I mean? Like, let's say I'm the big mamafua, then I can get some of my foot soldiers here. And what do? I can actually decide to start by paying them with the money that I have, that is the 20,000 that I have at the beginning, and then I subcontract them. I take multiple places. If then they are charging an X amount of money, then I can get a Y amount of money out of that. Okay, for example, let's use a simple practical example. For example, let's say a mamafua charges like 500. Then you can decide to say, hey, guess what? Yeah, you do charge 500, but you don't have a job as of now. So how about we do this? I do have an immediate job with me right now. How about you charge 400, I get the 100 for the sake of me looking for that job. So if you can get several mamafuas with you, then you can have some multiple hundreds coming in, and then you can actually be out there. And sometimes comebacks, you can actually realize that you're having yourself a laundry, you have yourself what you call a laundry company, that whereby you can be able to disseminate people out there and be able to make some cash. Okay, yeah, I know this one needs to be a little bit dissected so that you understand what I'm talking about, but it's always good to think about how to scale. For example, say you're a mamafua, say you do actually offer those services. How can you scale that business? It's simply by recruiting more people that do the same business as you, have the company, then be able to disseminate those guys and offer those services in multiple places. For example, if you are a mamafua, a single individual, you can only wash, say, for a single residential at a time. So how do you wash that one and the other one and the other one and the other one at the same time? It's by simply being all over the place and offer those services, so that at least you can be able to make 100 there, 100 there, 100 there, 100 there, 100 there. Then you can be able to consolidate all that cash of money. Remember one thing, you're not working and you're offering those prices. So your job will be actually being aggressive out there, having yourself a social media, letting that message go out there and talking to people, and that you can be able to make a good business out there. So always when you think about laundry, sometimes I actually feel bad when you go to a place, you find somebody has a laundry business and the guy is just sitting there waiting for people to walk in, to come. Just be out there, be on the social media presence, walk in those residential places, talk to people, let people know what you're doing, let them people know exactly what the services you're offering, and that is where you can actually be able to actually be out there, and you can be known, and you can be able to get a business as you move together. Let's go to the business number 3. This one is quite popular, guys, it. This is what we call the fruit business. Okay, the fruit business simply means whereby you're selling different types of fruit. By the way, there's somewhere I went and I saw a certain lady operating this business, and it was so nice. I don't know the name of that business was. Actually, I wish I can remember and give them a shout out. But I can just give them a word, because it was so quite elegant. He had to paint. She had painted like that specific place. Okay, for her it was a bit different, because she didn't rent a house, but there was kind of thing she had made, and then it was sort of painted green, and then she was operating on green theme, like crates where those things were. It's green, and wow, it was so nice. So you can actually get into the fruit business. By the way, you'll be shocked if I tell you 20,000 is way a lot of money when you want to get yourself into the fruit business, especially in Kenya. Why? Because obviously fruits are not that expensive in Kenya. Number 2, one thing, you cannot get yourself like a lot of fruits when you're starting up, because obviously these are perishable goods and they can go bad. So you start with the quantity that you can, you can be able to sell them off, let them fly off your shelf in time, so they don't go bad. If they go bad, then obviously you know what that means when it comes to business. So you can actually get yourself into this kind of an engagement. And what I can tell you on this business is that Again, you might think of actually, renting a place, but it's not clear necessarily, because if you rent a place with this amount of money, my dear brothers and sisters, the money will be finished before starting a business. But then if you can get a quite of good place whereby you can rent maybe with 5,000 or 6 or something, and then when the sort of landlady or landlord or agent tells you to pay like 2 months upfront, you tell them I don't have the money. But anyway, if they can ask you for 2 months upfront, that is 12,000, maybe a license of kind of 4, 3, or 5,000, depends on how you negotiate yourself along the way, then you can establish the business. And if that's not the possible, again, remember, open air market, go somewhere, be able to sell that specific thing in an open air place, and you can be able to do something. Start from there, then grow yourself, and then you can think of actually getting yourself a room where you can be able to sell those products from. Okay, and this one might actually go again with another one called the vegetable business. Vegetable business and the fruit kind of go together because all are perishables. Let me just include it here. Vegetable business. You find these are perishable goods, and they are perishable in the sense that you find like, hey, they don't have that long shelf life. So obviously, you need to make sure that you let your product fly off the shelf. So you can incorporate this one. So when I talk about the vegetables, I really don't know much about your country. Let me just use Kenya as an example because that's what I'm familiar with. You can be able to sell your kales. You can sell your you can sell your what do you call them, the traditional vegetables. You can sell the organic vegetables and all those organic products and what have you, and then you can be able to make some cash out there. Some of these things are actually very nutritious, and some of them are even, actually all of them are so sweet. Personally, I'm a fan of these vegetables because I know how sweet they are. So how about you show up to this kind of quote unquote posh areas where you find these guys cannot access these vegetables. When I say posh areas, I don't mean like you go and sell them in Runda and Keren and what have you. Okay, for those who don't come from Kenya, those are like cream de la cream in our country. So you don't go to that places. You go to places like Kilimani, Kileleshwa, what have you, South C, South B, and what have you. Those places whereby you find a huge number of people like a middle incomers, because if you want to make a lot of money, target the middle incomers. That's where you can get a lot of money, because these guys they are very much ready to consume and spend their cash. So that's where you actually channel your attention. So if you go to these places, sell them vegetables, and don't sell them in a traditional way. You can even come up with your own packaging. You can get your own brands, put your logo. If it's Good Joseph, you put your Good Joseph. I'm not saying use Good Joseph, that's mine. I can sue you for doing that. I'm just saying, if I was to get into that, you do the branding. Like, guys, just be a little bit creative. We are in 2024, so that's how you do it. You do your branding, then you can be able to package your products, and then you can be able to sell them out there. And then you can make some cash. I mean, what am I even saying before I even go to the last business? Okay, see, it's always good to make sure that at least you actually understand that you don't have to have a huge chunk of cash for you to start a business. You can start with as low as you can, and then uplift yourself as you move to the next level. Just pole pole. Pole pole in Swahili means slowly by slowly. That is exactly how you grow yourself to the next level. All right. Now, the other thing is what we call the second-hand clothing. This one is quite popular, second-hand clothing. In Kenya, we call them the mitumba. I don't know how you call them in your country. This one, I don't want you to look at it from the traditional way. Nowadays, we have some small things that you can sell, like sneakers. You can sell the bangles, the bracelets, the chains, the whatever. These things that actually talks about beauty, elegance, and you get what I'm saying. You can be able to sell those things and be able to make some cash, like watches and what have you. You can be able to make some cash out there. For example, you can decide to sell, and I would say for gentlemen, a little bit, allow me to just say this. Truly, if you can get yourself into the clothing business and you're selling to ladies, you can be able to make some cash. Because first of all, ladies clothing, and I stand corrected, ladies clothing tends to be a little bit affordable. Men's clothing are quite expensive. That's why we don't tend to buy our clothing like frequently. Yeah. So if you can get it, the ladies' clothing, then and you sell those unique things, like the panties, you can take the bras, you can take the crop tops. I don't know much about ladies' clothing. I'm just saying the one that I'm familiar with. Don't ask me how I'm familiar with those. Now, those are the things that you can get yourself into and at least make some cash. And the last thing that I can throw in there, you can sell milk. I don't know how your country is, but in Kenya here, you can be able to sell milk. Though there is a very strict regulation, but you can be able to sell your milk as far as that business is concerned. How you can sell them from outside place. Again, whenever you're dealing with food, make sure that you present yourself in a quite elegant way. You clean and what have you, so that at least, you know, you can assure people's health and what have you. Sometimes, I don't know what, you can just go check the street food in Kenya. It's quite crazy, but I believe Ugandans one are far much better than us. Yeah, for those who are watching, by the way, I love the street foods of Uganda and Zambia, especially places called Mateveto. I love those places. You know, it's quite amazing. I would love to visit those places. Yeah, and a little bit of Ethiopia. Yeah, for now it's a goodbye, but don't forget, if you'd like to have a conversation with me as far as the business is concerned, go ahead and grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Let's talk business, and I'm gonna be making more of these videos so that at least we can learn from each other. So for now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget to like the video, make sure that you share it out. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.